So yeah, we went camping. Bob couldn't come, so he stayed back and did some dog sitting, and we still have the dog with us. This is future editing, Rachel. But the kids and I got a secondhand tent and packed everything up in the car and drove to Pennsylvania. We knew that we wanted to go to DelGrosso's Harvest Festival. We went last year, and we had a fantastic time. And as I was taking these pictures you're looking at now, I got more and more excited about fall in general. Oh yeah, this was the last of the roses. Um, but also just the whole concept of going camping. We've gone in RVs before, but never tent camping. So I hope you'll come along with me. I packed up the car with all the stuff Thursday afternoon and then went to work as usual on Friday. And then the kids joined me when I got off work and we all headed out for Pennsylvania. We did run into a lot of traffic. I didn't get any footage of that because that's not very interesting. But here we are trying to get to the campsite before twilight. We didn't make it to the campsite before twilight, so we ended up putting up the tent in full darkness. After we got that up and all the mattresses inflated, we went to a gas station slash convenience store. It's open 24 hours a day. They have hot food 24 hours a day. They also have clean bathrooms, are only 100 yards away from the campsite, and sell beer and wine. So we actually went there for breakfast and dinner and have nothing but good things to say about Snappy's. Staff are also super nice, and there's an area where you can sit down and eat. But anyway, after getting in late, putting up the tent in the dark, and then having dinner at Snappy's, and then getting back and going to bed, at some point during the night, I got up to walk to the bathrooms. They have plumbed in bathrooms and showers. You'll see that later. I lost my glasses, and luckily I had an extra pair with me, and so I just got, well, I guess I lost my glasses. But surprise, surprise, they showed up later. Okay, so here we are the next morning at Bald Eagle Campsite. This is right off the main road. So when you see this, you kind of pull in. And I captured some video basically on what it looks like when you drive in from the road to the campsite and what that looks like. But this is me in the morning trying to capture what the tent erected in the dark looked like and the adjoining campsite, which is 11. We are in campsite number 12 and what this all looked like. We actually had neighbors that arrived even later than we did, but they arrived, they pulled in, they slept in their car, and then they left literally before dawn the next morning. So I don't know, maybe a road trip situation. But we have a beautiful campsite. It's on like a little, not quite a pond. It's kind of like a pond that's been created by a spillway that interrupts a stream and well, it turns it into, well, a pond. So it's just beautiful, and there's lots of wildlife, and you can hear the insect sounds, and it's lovely and calm. And there's a frog statue right there. So in the morning, I was pleased to see that, like, we had a tent and everything was nice. This is some footage of what it looks like driving out of campsite number 12. You do have to go through a couple of narrow pathways and then across a bridge. Don't be too worried about the bridge. It is a single lane bridge, but there's reflectors on it. So as long as you pay attention to what you're doing, it's fine. And as you exit the bridge, you will come out into the main area of the campground, and that's where you will find the station for dumping your trash, getting your firewood, and recycling your glass, plastic, and aluminum cans. So you'll see this shed. Sometimes there may be a few pieces of firewood out in front of it. Usually there's a sign that says, please take wood from inside the shed. So if you look inside the shed, you're going to find local firewood. If you drive down the road outside of it, you'll see the guy, or maybe it's a gal, who's selling firewood for $5 for a little, bundle. Obviously, don't bring your own wood to avoid parasites like the spotted lanternfly and things like that. But anyway, so if you need wood, there is a Venmo place where you can scan and pay for it. I think it's like $5 for a bundle. And then you can walk across towards the bathhouse. And about halfway to the bathhouse, if you turn to your right, you will see a couple of picnic benches and a basketball hoop. If you're wondering where the balls are, they are in the activity and recreation area. I will show you that later. In fact, I will probably show you that right now. But they do have a place for kids or adults to play basketball. If you walk right past the area for women to go to the restroom and use the showers, you'll see kind of like well, it's an old campground, so it's older. You go through this door, there's light switches on the inside. I think that when I visited earlier in the day, some of the lights were turned off to avoid energy wastage. But in here is a pool table, a ping pong table, some t-shirts for sale, and what else? There's some like wildlife books. It's pretty reasonable for accommodations that are only $30 a night. So here's the activity room, and we've got a ping pong table and a billiards table, pool table, extra chairs, and there's ping pong balls and paddles. There's some pamphlets for nearby attractions. Oh, there's DelGrosso's. That's where we went. Well, that's where we're going tomorrow. And then there are also some t-shirts for sale and a Venmo code to pay for them. There's also a bunch of wildlife posters and butterflies and insects. Some interesting signs from the locality. There is some play balls and equipment. And if you're into that kind of thing, there are some bits and pieces from local wildlife. Feathers and things. Insects, frogs, turtle shells, and nature books. And I don't know. Oh, and here's the phone number for this place. And I just now saw a couple of bins underneath this table, and I have no idea what's in them. Let's find out. Probably nothing. It is in fact nothing. So anyway, there's interesting things to do on a rainy day. Extra chairs. And I suppose if you're here during the summer, you could borrow, well, not the stove, but some of the barbecues. But if, like us, you're sitting out a rainstorm because you don't necessarily want to go into the tent because it's still a little too muggy to just sit inside a tent, you can come hang out here. There are even, in this dark little corner, which is not very well lit, there are some cards if you want to have a card game. But that's about it. That's the recreation room. It definitely is an artifact of an older time, but then again, this is a very old campground, and that's why it's become a hip camp. You can't bring RVs here over a certain length. I think it's 25 feet. So it's kind of like a campground from, back in the day, because that's exactly what it is. Okay, now that we've explored the excitement that is a super old recreation room, let's go find out what the bathrooms are like. They have showers and plumb toilets. Yay! And that's me. So the bathroom is very clean. Everything's functional. And I just found the glasses that I forgot this morning. Yay. So somebody must have found them and put them there so that I could find them later. So there's two things. There's sinks, hand sanitizer, and hand soap. There's it's either a nightlight or a fragrance thing. I'm not sure which. I think it's a nightlight. And some paper towels. If something's dirty or when they need to clean it, there's cleaners under there. There are two toilets. They're very clean. Had absolutely no problem with those. Plenty of toilet paper. And also, farther in are showers. Yeah. Okay. So I found the lights after the bathroom stalls. The first switch. The first switch hits the main bathroom lights. The second switch eliminates the showers. So here's the showers. Everything's clean. I did hear some other campers in here saying that the water took a little while to turn on, but that it did get hot eventually. Like I said, everything looks clean. And there's a little bench in both these cubicles to rest your things on. And then there's a hook in both of the cubicles. And that's about it. When it gets cold, during cold weather, there is a heater that you can turn on. But that's about it. And around the other side, the ladies is on the front, and on the side, there appears to be two, both for men. So I don't know if that's an indication that they get more visitors of the male persuasion or what. But anyway, there are two doors for the men's room. It could be that it's just one large room in there, and then there's 2 entrances. But that's it. That's the bathhouse. And about 100 yards from the bathhouse is the road, and about 100 yards from the where the campsite area meets the road is the gas station. So in order to get to Snappy's, you basically just walk out the entrance and walk down the road, and you are there. So it's 24 hours access to hot food, cold food, wine, beer, soft drinks, and just basically everything that you would find at a convenience store. And the rest of this is just going to be some footage of what the campground looks like as you drive around it. We really, really enjoyed staying here. It is definitely worth the very modest price. I think with a site with electrical power, I think we only spent like $40 a night, which is a very good deal. And it was close to where we were wanting to visit, which was the Harvest Fest at DelGrosso, and that will be in the next video. Anyway, you guys know the drill. If you want to help, click like and subscribe, but even if you don't, I hope you have a fantastic